So if I were to ask you what plans you had going on a random Wednesday afternoon, I'd expect an answer like going to work. You've got school. Maybe you're hanging out at home. Maybe you're spending the whole day gaming with the boys. I don't judge. Everybody does it from time to time. However, the last thing I'd probably expect anybody to ever hit me with would probably have to be skydiving. Yeah, so here's the story of the time I went skydiving. You're probably wondering how I got here. Yeah, me too. Let me explain. So, when an old coworker taps me on the shoulder one day and goes, "Hey man, you want to jump out of an airplane at 175,000 feet with us?" Naturally, I just think they meant one of those simulator things you see at a mall, or a park purely based around simulating the feeling of skydiving, not like actually skydiving. Like, I didn't expect to wind up on a tiny airplane a week later, staring in silent panic out of a window, looking for whatever puddle looked the deepest, just in case attempted manslaughter is the next best option for the day. But I'll get to that part of the story later. First, I gotta start from the very beginning. So, for context, I used to work at a Domino's, and one day one of my coworkers walks up to me on the food line and he goes, "Hey man, wanna go skydiving with us?" You guys are joking, right? Fuck. Okay, it didn't happen that fast, but it really felt like it. The next morning, we were all sitting in McDonald's having breakfast and looking at ticket prices, and you would honestly think skydiving alone would be expensive, let alone the highest altitude that they offer. But we paid $175 for 175,000 feet. Ironic, I know. That's like $1 per 1,000 feet, but still. Like, that price is still shocking to me 5 years later. I don't think I'll ever get over that, to be honest. Oh my god, am I getting old? If you paid like $60 more, you could get your fall recorded on a GoPro with a song of your choosing playing in the background. I didn't want to pay that. I don't want fall music. What am I, a hell diver? But it turns out that that sentiment was not shared among the three of us. I'll elaborate on that more later. Eventually, D-Day arrived, and we were on our way to the hangar at the early hour of 9 in the morning. That might not be super early to some of you, but your boy struggles. Don't judge me. What are you, some kind of early riser? What are you, the kind of guy to wake up happy at 8 in the morning? What do you think this is? Who do you take me for? As I put out more videos, you guys are going to discover too that a lot of the craziest stories I have to tell start with me waking up in what I consider the early morning. So you guys might be judging me for sleeping in till the time has PM showing, but I like to believe I'm keeping myself safe and I won't be tolerating slander. What, you got something to say? You got something to say? Say it to my face! After a 2 hour drive, we eventually made it to the hangar. And as we checked in, we discovered the friend who made the original plan to go skydiving in the first place couldn't even go because he was like 5 pounds over the limit. But I can honestly understand them not wanting to bend that rule slightly, especially jumping at such a high altitude. We offered to just head out, but he insisted that we just go on ahead since we had already made the drive. To make up for it, I paid for his dinner, so, it's not like he just completely missed out on the day. He had actually gotten the more expensive jump package, if you remember when I mentioned that earlier, and he wanted to see if one of us could just take the fall music and the GoPro. The lady behind the counter was really cool, and she agreed that one of us could have it, so our other friend decided he wanted to fall to the music. So they brought out a little menu with like a list of songs that they would play for his recording. And a lot of them were songs that none of us really recognized until we all collectively froze to give each other that same smirk when we all found the only song that would make sense for what we were about to do. So with the confidence of a 60-year-old man going through a midlife crisis, he strut up to that front desk, looked this poor lady in the eyes, and goes, "Yeah, can I get free falling?" Yeah, I was gonna try to get a license to use the song, but turns out that's super expensive, so if you guys want that part, you can add it yourselves. Not much longer after that, we were all suited up in our harnesses and we got to meet up with the instructors we were going to be hooked up to. I really wish I could remember my instructor's name because he was genuinely such a cool guy. But he was wearing an even cooler hat. This had to be like the coolest hat I've ever seen in my 23 years on this planet. Like, imagine that Sonic drawing meme from like 15 years ago, but as a hat, and you get exactly what was on this guy's head. Genuinely took my mind off of the fact that this guy was about to throw us both out of an airplane. As we're getting on the plane, at the last minute, we had a couple join us. I didn't think much of it originally until I realized that they weren't hooked up to anybody sporting a ridiculous meme hat. Oh, you guys must be professionals. Oh, we do this like once every few weeks. Excuse me? Now we're up to speed. No, not you. What are you doing in my video? Get off my plane! Shoto, man, you're hella brave, bro. I would not be looking out the window this high up, man. I'm looking for somewhere to land if this man lets me go. What? Genuine conversation we had on the ride up, I swear. You weren't there, you're gonna have to take my word for it. What, are you gonna argue with me? Funny enough, we actually ended up placing a bet on who was going to make the jump first, and you can probably picture the grin under my helmet when I watched my friend and his instructor stand up to make their way to the door. I'm telling you right now, there will be no greater feeling than seeing the look on his face as they move towards the exit. This man's face went from pure panic to the meanest side eye as he walked past us in a matter of seconds. And my god, that was by far the best feeling I've ever endured. We actually ended up jumping last, which had my anxiety at an all-time high, but I mean, obviously you gotta save the best for last, right? Right? At the same time, though, that overall feeling was just absolutely terrifying. Just waiting my turn to get thrown out of an airplane. But you want to know what was even more terrifying? Getting dangled out of the plane. Yeah, since I'm strapped to another guy, I guess I don't need to sit on the plane while this man does his last minute safety check. Sure, yeah, I don't want to feel safe for what could be my last minutes on this planet. Or lack thereof. But you want to know the worst part? You want to know what this bastard did to me? He told me he was going to give me a countdown. This man goes, I'm going to count to 3 and we'll jump. Yeah, okay, man. Take your time, please, God. This man goes, 3, and throws us out of the plane. Oh, you son of a bitch! The fall was probably the least terrifying thing about the whole process, but here's your daily dose of education. The smallest adjustment of your wrist alone could cause you and anyone attached to you to start spinning out of control. Yeah, I learned that when Sonic the Fall instructor kept bopping me on the back of the head or tapping aggressively on my shoulder every time the wind slightly blew my wrist slightly to the left and caused us to start spinning. Like my fall, man. You try staying stiff as a board when you're falling from 175,000 feet up in the air at an ever-increasing rate of speed. What do you think I am? Like, excuse me, can you not? I will unlatch us both. I didn't see you looking for puddles up on the plane. To keep up the trend, here's my pick for proof or whatever. I don't really have much to say about this other than it was genuinely a super fun experience and I would 100% do it again if somebody asked me to. They're going up with me though. I refuse to do that alone. You're going with me. After me and the other guys all met back up in the hangar, the lady working behind the counter brought out all the pictures along with a tiny flash drive that they informed us had our friends fall. And then they said that they had a copy that they could play right there in the hangar on this giant flat screen TV mounted to the wall, and it was just as funny as we hoped. If you get the opportunity to go for yourselves, I would 100% recommend skydiving for yourselves, and that's pretty much it. I doubt the instructors will ever see this video, but I want to say thank you anyway, even though it's been like half a decade. I mean, since it's been like 5 years since then, and I really doubt they remember me, but thanks all the same, and yeah. Thank you all so much again for watching, and I hope to see you all again real soon.